What's up, everybody? We back with another message, another video. Thank you to all my new subscribers and future new subscribers. You know we do nothing here without God because everything is spiritually led by God over here. We cover the world from a spiritual and physical aspect to get the raw, real, and uncut answers. So anything you hear, anything you see in these end times, may you test the spirits, aka take the words and visuals back to prayer with God, as there are many Decepticons running around in these end times sent from the enemy, had a strong, close, and personal relationship with God. Good, great, and awesome. All right, everybody. So just recapping a October 14, 2023 word with a dream attached to it regarding firings during Trump's term in the White House. So pretty straightforward here, okay? Just remember we do the background, the prior word, and then the events. And make sure you test every single spirit. 1 John 4:1, like mentioned in the intro, okay? This is not an accuracy show. This is what we apply to scripture and just show people, God does speak to us. He warns us. He gives us comfort in times of difficulty within the world. We may see it, but we're not going to be affected all the time. And God still gives us that peace and understanding, okay? So this is what this is for, just recapping. And please don't be led by fear, all right? So to start off here, October 14th, 2023 word. So the Father was saying that the wicked leaders know what is coming. Their resources, agendas, and so forth will be toppled by God himself. There is an opening in the U.S. at the border. People deceptively coming in for the wrong reasons. A dream that the Father gave was firings from Trump in and around the White House. So I saw this woman in the dream who got fired and she was very upset. And then I saw books lying around which symbolized doctrine not of God, which was the interpretation God gave me. And God indicated in the dream that people have been sleeping for way too long. Okay? So today, thus far, during Trump's term, we see that mass firings have happened at a federal level. A lot of areas in the worldly system are being rattled. So people will have to learn to depend on God. When you start shaking up that federal system and all these jobs, well, it affects a lot of other things. And God has been warning us about changing the worldly system, shaking the worldly system up so that people can come to him. And scripturally, just to start off here, remember, Nebuchadnezzar was not following God's way, but was allowed to affect people as a part of God's plan. Nebuchadnezzar was then humbled and brought to truth. So Trump may not be moving according to the way of God in fullness, but God has allowed him to dismantle a worldly system. God is all-knowing, ladies and gentlemen, and has his plans to bring people to reliance on him. So we shall see how much further this will go. But scripturally, 1 John 4:1, test the spirits, test every spirit. I'm going to say that one more time for you. Daniel 2:21, and he changes the times and the seasons. He removes kings and raises up kings. And he gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. So God changes the times and raises up and removes kings for his purpose. Ecclesiastes 3:1, everything has its time. To everything is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he shall direct your paths. All right? So we just got to trust the Lord with everything happening and know he's got us, his children, and will bring people of the world, even people in our families, to truth. It will be all right. As chaotic as things may seem, God's plan is to work it all out for the greater. So now we're going to move into the prior word and then the event. All right? Peace and blessings. So I had a dream. It was nighttime and I was in this big old mansion. It was white everywhere. So I'm assuming that was the White House because it was white everywhere. But Trump fired people in this mansion, right? So this woman just started going crazy. She started losing her mind. So after they left, I seen books. So books equals doctrines, not of God. that was in there. That's why they got fired, because he's taking out the wicked in the leadership right now. He's moving them. God is moving them out of the way. Basically, that's just what's been going on over the past couple of years. So God is not happy with how asleep people are, and he's going to start moving things out the way.
Administration moves to slash the federal workforce. Thousands of government employees are bracing for more layoffs this very morning, with new questions about the impact on the IRS, the height of the tax season. NBC News White House correspondent Aaron Gilchrist brings us the latest.
Air Force One buzzing the Daytona Speedway just before President Trump took his ultra-armored car, the Beast, for a lap around the track at the Daytona 500 and telling NASCAR fans the country is doing well.
We brought it back, and it's been less than 4 weeks, so you'll see what we do in a little period of time. It's going to only get better.
His Raceway message coming on the heels of his promise to save the nation money by continuing to slash the federal workforce. With tax season in full swing, social media flooded with fears about tax return chaos and delays if thousands of IRS employees are fired.
I feel bad for all of us hardworking people may not get our taxes filed in time.
We're in the middle of the tax.
New Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent telling Bloomberg News earlier this month, IRS employees can't take the president's buyout offer during tax season.
They're not eligible for that until May 15th. So I don't imagine anything's going to go on at the IRS until then or beyond.
President Trump last week responding to a question about closing the IRS.
No, I don't expect it, but I think that the Internal Revenue Service will be looked at like everybody else.
NBC News has obtained a termination letter sent to dozens of probationary workers at the Transportation Department saying they were fired for poor performance, despite most being rated exceptional.
Well, speaking of President Trump, we've learned he abruptly fired the Librarian of Congress, Dr. Carla Hayden. Her firing comes as the White House continues to oust people from the federal government whom it believes oppose the Trump agenda. News source Megan McGrath joins us live outside the Library of Congress with more details. Megan, good morning.
Well, good morning. Dr. Carla Hayden was named Librarian of Congress back in 2016 by then President Barack Obama, and she was approved in a bipartisan vote by the U.S. Senate. Now, Hayden had 1 year left on her 10-year term, but she was fired by President Trump on Thursday. Now, Hayden was the first woman and the first African-American to serve as Librarian of Congress. She was also the first to have the job without a lifetime appointment. President Obama signed a law in 2015 ending lifetime terms and making it a 10-year job. Now, in recent days, Hayden had been targeted by a conservative nonprofit group, the American Accountability Foundation. In social media posts, the group accused her of being woke and claimed that she promoted access to books about radical gender identity. Now, Democrats have come to Hayden's defense. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen released a statement saying, Dr. Carla Hayden has served as Librarian of Congress with honor and distinction, bringing our prized institution to new heights. Trump's outrageous, politically motivated move to fire her is despicable. The Library of Congress belongs to the American people, not